Okay, guys, so let's start this webinar. I am so glad that all of you could join us. I am Shivani Singh, your host for today. And today we're going to have a very fun and interactive and a very informative webinar, which is like the need of the hour. So before moving to that, let me tell you all about our platform that is Skills Rediscovery, guys. So Skills Rediscovery is a platform wherein we promote a skill-based learning. We believe that if you have the right kind of skills, if you have the right kind of talent, you can always keep nurturing them, honing them, and start your career with your talent, with your passion, turning your skills into a career. Skills Rediscovery has been, has covered like 1 year this year, and Skills Rediscovery has been going on with full energy and enthusiasm. And people like you who are interested in, making your skill and developing and enhancing your skill for the betterment of your career and for other people also, we definitely promote those people, encourage those people. To tell you something more about Skills Rediscovery, I would like to tell that Skills Rediscovery has been awarded the Best AdTech Platform by TPL Shiksha Award. It has also been, awarded with Incubated with Vadodara Startup Studio, Parul University. And Skills Rediscovery has also been promoted in various magazines, education magazines, and has been also gotten very encouragement with various universities. So we would love you guys to check out our website, that is skillsrediscovery.com. I'll be sending the link in the chat box. So today's webinar is something about, which is like very important in each student's life or a professional life. It's about interview facing skills and about public speaking. And we have a very influential and an expert trainer for that for you guys, who is Ms. Meeta Mathur ma'am, who is an NLP practitioner and also a life and communication coach. She has been associated with Skills Rediscovery and a known face for us for a very long time. She's also a founder of Big Ladder of her own, and she is an independent woman. So I'm so glad that we had a chance to communicate with her again, and she'll be, discussing about this important topic. I know that interview facing skills is very, very important because a lot of us, competitive exam to nikal lete hain, written test nikal lete hain, but we fear that interview round. We fear that round of discussing or talking to someone and communicating the right way. That is something we all fear. And जब वो public speaking में आ जाता है, तब तो हम सब बहुत ज़्यादा hesitant हो जाते हैं. And to just combat that fear, to come out of that zone and to just, ace ourselves, we have, conducted this webinar today for you all. So thank you so much once again for joining us. And now I will, hand over the mic to Ms. Meeta Mathur, who's going to start this amazing webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivani. Thank you for the introduction. And you are a great speaker yourself.
No, right. I'm not in front of you.
So good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure once again to be talking to you. And my heartfelt gratitude to Skills Rediscovery for introducing this wonderful platform. Just the initiative, just the thought that anything, when it is learned in your own language, see, if you teach me something in a foreign language, it will be very difficult for me to understand and grasp. And we as a country, such a vast country, having so many languages. And when you teach me in my own mother tongue, I learn it faster. And the number of courses that you are running is amazing, right? From Spanish, French, German, Japanese, and so many other. And I've seen some dance forms also on the platform. That is amazing. All of these are a big umbrella of skills that is so, so useful in everyday life.
Right.
So in the last 2 years, we have seen so much change in our lives. We have seen that the entire digital platform emerging, and then our lives becoming so much more different, than what we were used to earlier. And, I sometimes joke that we are living evidence of, a BC and a PC culture, which is like before COVID and post-COVID. So yes, now, as you can understand, that skills have become very, very, very important for all our lives. And I would like to draw your attention to my screen now. Hang on, just give me an opportunity to share with you.
Sure.
So just look at your screen. What does it say? It says, no matter what job you have in life, Your success will be determined by 5% by your academic credentials, 15% by your professional experience, and 80% by your communication skills. I know most of you are surprised and shocked at the percentages, but let me tell you, all of this is based out of research done by international organizations. And I fully endorse this fact because when we are in organizations, we are not in a brick and mortar building, but we are amongst people where we are talking, having a conference, or maybe selling something, or even just writing an email. Everything is based on communication. Therefore, it is very, very important to understand that the success depends on your communication skills. So having said that, and as students, as corporate executives, we need to understand that this is one of the most important skills that we can possess today. And I need not elaborate on this because art of communication is the building block of everything that is important in our lives. Like, for example, the trust between two people, between an employee and an employer, between a husband and a wife, and or two friends. It is all based on the trust that you have mutually. So, and that trust, how will you build that invisible emotion? And that will be built from good communication skills. If you are having a problem in a relationship, you can resolve it through your communication when you talk it out. And for any leader to bring out clarity or direction for his team, he will need very good communication skills. And because he's communicating to so many different people, he needs to understand how to interact or how to connect with different people. Any relationship can only live and survive when all the communication channels are open to each other. Of course, it increases engagement, it increases your productivity, profitability, and performance of your entire team. So I would say that any kind of team building, leadership, or any kind of selling, advertising, anything is possible only through good communication skills. And I'm sure most of you will agree with me. So because this is a conversation where we are going to be discussing communication, I would like each one of you to communicate with me, and let's make it a very interactive sessions where we can talk to each other. If you like, you could write your comments in the chat box, or maybe you could directly unmute and talk to me and ask me any questions that you have. And of course, we'll have a Q&A session post the presentation. But even then, if you do have a question, I'm open to it and we can discuss it during the presentation as well. So guys, I don't need to tell you or elaborate more on how important it is to have very good communication skills. So, so what is it that is stopping us from climbing this proverbial ladder to success? Of course, it is our ability to express ourselves clearly and with great conviction, confidence, so that we can have a better relationship. I would like to ask each one of you, what is it that is stopping you from becoming great orators? Unmute and talk to me. What is it that stops you from becoming a great communicator? Like, for example, when your teacher asks you a question in the classroom, what is it that stops you from raising your hand and telling her the answer? Even so, you know, sometimes there is somebody else in the class who answers, and then you feel, "Arey, this, I also knew this." But then you stopped yourself from answering. Or maybe in a conference room, when your ideas or opinions are asked, what is it that is stopping you? Or as a founder, what is it that is stopping you from pitching your great ideas to investors? I'm sure each one of you has a different answer. I would like to see in the chat box if you have any. Okay, somebody's written confidence, underconfidence. Yes, thank you so much. What else?
Guys, you can just, unmute yourself and come up with your question. Please don't hesitate because this is all about, combating your fear, being confident. So please.
I think it's hello.
Yes.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention one more thing. I agree to the underconfidence part, and another thing is you mentioned about when someone in class gives the answer. There's a fear of judgment maybe from other people around us.
Yes. People are judging you. People are looking at you. Maybe people are making fun of you, ridiculing you. That is a big one. That is a big one that I see in age group from 12 to 25, that the fear of their peer group, maybe they're judging me. So it is better to be quiet and let the opportunity slide by. Anxiety for some, the lack of confidence in their own selves, the lack of that self-image that they have for themselves is so much at the lowest surface that it becomes difficult for them to come forward and answer. You are so right here. Their own nervousness, maybe they feel that, yes, I do not have the requisite vocabulary, or I do not know the language so much enough that I can speak in front of so many people. So look at this slide and tell me if you resonate with this. So fear of public speaking is so common that 74% of people in this world have speech anxiety. In fact, so much so that this is amongst the top phobias, with claustrophobia and all. This fear has a name, and the name is glossophobia. Okay, so when I say 74% people, I mean 74% of people on this planet, which simply says that out of every 4 people, 3 people have this fear. तो जनाब हम अकेले नहीं हैं इस planet में, इस विश्व में जिसको ये fear है. आपके आसपास देखिए बहुत सारे लोग इस fear से ग्रस्त हैं, right? So that is some consolation. Yes, and what we can do about it is very important. We need to conquer our nerves or our anxiety. Whenever you meet any other soft skill trainer, or let's say a communication coach, the person is going to say, why do you have this fear? You should not have this fear because it is so, it is nothing. Just go and speak to the people. All kind of platitudes will come to you. Right? Is that right? What
Yeah.
most, yeah. So they will say,
They'll try to normalize it. कि मतलब ये तो होता है अभी इसमें क्या कर सकते हैं ऐसा.
And when I said that out of every 4 people, 3 people have this fear, that makes me a little, better, feeling that I'm not alone in this world with this kind of fear. Shivani, let me just share my story, and I was not always a public speaker kind of a person. I was not this extrovert or confident all my life. So because we are from the army background, my father used to get posted every 2 years. That did not give me an opportunity to make new friends or, have, especially when we had snow all around us, we were cooped up in our houses. But fortunately for me, my father had a huge library of 750 books.
Right.
I would be sitting alone in one corner of the house and reading books all my life. And sometimes my mother and grandmother used to say that we would be very surprised if we know that this girl is still in the house. That was how introverted or shy I was, and I would never come out to meet the guests or anybody. But since I had the company of all these books and so much knowledge, I was doing quite well academically. So my domain and my college life, everything was, I had very good marks, but nobody knew about it. So eventually I came to the conclusion, even if I have very good skills, even if I have very good knowledge, how will people come to know about it? Yes, unless, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So yeah, I thought the screen was frozen. Sorry about that. So I understood, yes, that it is very important for all of us to be able to showcase our skills and talent. And how can we showcase our skills and talents is only through communicating with other people and letting them know about what is it that we have in our mind, right? So that is when I very consciously tried to learn, or let's say unlearn first my reclusiveness or my shyness, and then I made myself invest in a good coach to be able to speak better. So everyone, goes through a phase of anxiety or goes through a phase of nervousness when they are faced with 100 odd people, like when I'm on a webinar or when I'm on stage. So how to stop or how to manage that anxiety? Can we manage that anxiety? I would like to know from our viewers, is it possible that this anxiety or this fear can go away? Let's see in the chat box if somebody can tell us if we can manage this anxiety. Practice. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. So first of all, let's trying to be more confident. Yes. So what Anand has so rightly put forward is that we need to practice a lot. And I'm sure most of you who have joined us today will agree that communication is learned best by practicing and practice and more practice. See, everyone needs a coach. Federer has a coach. Tendulkar has a coach. So even if God of cricket needs a coach, why don't we? Of course, we all need a coach. I ask you, what is the best way to practice? How do you like to practice?
So I don't know if this works for everyone or not. Hello? Yeah,
Yes.
Same as
Yeah,
Sai.
you're audible.
Yeah, I think what I was going to mention is mentioned by Saish in the chat room in front of the mirror. So I agree with Saish that I like to practice in front of the mirror.
And do you like to also practice with your friends or maybe your siblings?
Exactly. Talking with your family members. That's a very good practice.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. So when you practice in front of the mirror, except for that story, about the mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I don't know any mirror in this world who gives back you some feedback. You can practice all your life in front of the mirror is not going to speak back to you. And when you practice with your friends or your siblings, remember your peer group are at the same level as you are. All right. So any kind, and they are not trained to give you that kind of feedback. If you're practicing with your parents may be very, very talented. They could be doctors, lawyers, engineers, whatever. And they must be on a very high post. But remember, they are trained for their domain. They are not trained to be coaches, right? So the kind of feedback or the kind of constructive criticism that you need to be better in your choice of this thing, you will need a coach. You will need someone who's been there, done that. You need an expert or a mentor who can actually tell you what is right or what is wrong. See, who can actually customize as per your current evaluation. That is what we do. That is because, see, as Shivani was already told you, I am a life coach and an NLP practitioner. What is NLP? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So what we do is we bring these two skills together and create modules that can give you easy yet very effective techniques that can not only boost your confidence, reduce your anxiety, but also be able to give you those powerful words that will help you influence and persuade people in front of you. So I don't need to stress how vital it is that you have good, effective communication skills. But what you need is a scientific approach to learning any skill. So here we are at Skill Rediscovery and helping you out with a lot of communication related programs, one of which is Ace Your Interview, and the second one is to have powerful public speaking skills. And each of these are fueled by NLP, and they are very economically priced and very economical on the time also. We just need 6 hours that can be spread on 6 days or maybe in 2 days or 3 days, and we can totally customize your program. And you also have, remember this, you also have the ability to contact the business coaches live and share your issues, problems, or challenges live with your coaches. Now that is fantastic. I find the Skill Rediscovery doing a very innovative job here. So let's go further and talk about anxiety. Would you all like to know some hacks which can help you manage your anxiety? Yes, let's see some hands. Let's see how excited you are to overcome this anxiety. I know all of you are
very excited.
Thank you so much. So I know all of you want to be successful in your lives. I know all of you want to do very well in your businesses or in any endeavor that you might have. So I also would like to help you or assist you in creating a successful life for yourself through scientific means. So NLP, as I said, has these very beautiful techniques. But first notice that I didn't say stop your anxiety. I said manage your anxiety, because anxiety or fear, I feel, is a very, very positive hormone or a very positive emotion. We as an entire species of human beings are alive on this planet simply because we had this fear that has kept us alive on this planet, and we didn't get eaten by the dinosaurs and those ferocious animals, right? So yeah, let's talk about managing these fears. The first step is to acknowledge this feeling. Acknowledge means that you should understand that you have this feeling. When anxiety symptoms kick in a few minutes just before public speaking, what are the thoughts that are going in your mind? Oh, I'm not going to be able to do it, or maybe people are going to judge me, or I'm going to mess it up like last time, or something, some past or future anxieties or catastrophic happens with us, and we start having those spiraling thoughts. When this happens, you have to be very mindful about it. Mindful, acknowledge it, and don't resist that. We simply greet that anxiety and say, hey, this is me, doing something very important and something very consequential. That is why, see, when you are normally talking to your friends or normally talking in the class to your professor, do you feel anxious? No. But it is only when you are doing some public speaking, or maybe you're going for an interview, which you have not done before, which seemingly in your heart, is very important to you. Only then you fear public speaking, not in everyday life. So this is normal. Understand that this is normal and natural. Greet this and acknowledge the feeling. If we do not acknowledge this feeling, and if we do not understand it is there, it is like, an illness. When you go to a doctor, you have to show him the symptoms that you have. Only then he can tell you a cure for it. Right? Only then he can suggest a medicine for it. So first, you have to understand this fear, dissect it. What is it that is actually making? Fear is a huge factor. It is an umbrella of so many factors. As I said, so from my example, if I can give you, recently I was invited for an HR convention. And I was very well prepared. I had, as you suggested, practiced quite well. I'd written it myself. So I was sure of what I had written. Now, when I was there sitting in the auditorium, which was pitch dark, packed with 500 dignitaries and students who had come from nationwide, and there were two more speakers just before me. And suddenly I had this surge of fear inside me, and I could, feel that my breathing has increased, and my palms were sweaty, and I was feeling, why do I have to do this? Why am I just sitting here? And I just wanted to run away. And then I said, okay, Meeta, calm down. Try to understand why this is happening to you. You are the person who teaches everybody to speak, and why is it happening to you today? And then, a picture flashed in my mind that I was scared that I might fall on the stage, because on the stage there were so many wires, the microphones and the TV cameras, and I think there was a lot of spotlights and stuff, and a lot of wires, you can understand. And I thought I would just trip and fall on the stage and make a fool of myself. You know what I did? I just picked up my phone, switched on the flashlight, and very calmly got up on the stage. So I can find solutions only when I know what is it that is making me nervous. Do you agree with me? I hope you agree with me, guys. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So this huge fear, we can combat it only and only when we know what we are going through. See, this is, you can stop it from becoming an enormous elephant in the room, which you cannot push out. You cannot eliminate it until and unless you, start acknowledging it at the very beginning. When your headache becomes a migraine, it is so difficult to cure. So for any illness, you have to cure it at its bud level. Remember, there is no right or wrong way of presenting. Although there are certainly better or worse, but there is nothing right or wrong. And we tell ourselves that we are having fun, we are having a conversation, we are going to have a blast. Our mind does not understand negatives. Our mind secretes the same hormone when we are feeling anxiety and when we are feeling excited. So the second technique or second hack that I can suggest to you is to reframe the situation. What I mean by reframing the situation, dear friends, is when we look at an issue or a challenge in a different way. So imagine if you had an old painting in your house and you just changed the frame to a nice, beautiful, golden edge frames. Suddenly you will feel that you have a new painting in the house. Or maybe if you change your specs, the frame of your specs, suddenly the look on your face will also change. So similarly, for an issue or a challenge, if I reframe it, I will start looking at it differently. So instead of saying that I am faced with a challenge, and if I say, oh, I'm faced with an opportunity, the entire emotions will change. Now I'm so excited. Now I'm so open to it. I feel happy and joyous that new doors are going to open for me. Maybe I will meet new people. Maybe I'll be doing something great in my life. So new opportunities are coming to me. So when I'm faced with an interview and when I'm feeling very, very anxious or I'm so scared to death, instead I say, no, this is an opportunity for me to go out there, impress other people, and be the hero or heroine of my life or my movie. I am going to do so well in this program. And then you change your thinking, you reframe the situation. So what are we doing just now? I'm having a conversation with you, even though you are so far away and you're so away. I may be looking at something, I'm having a conversation with my screen, but yes, we are having a conversation. So what is an interview? It is a conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee. If I am addressing 500 people, I'm still having a conversation, even when they are quiet and patiently listening to me, as you are just now. So all of these, when I reframe them, my entire brain is wired differently and the chemicals in my head are secreted differently. So my physiology and my behavior and my outcomes, they are all different and they are more suitable to what I would have liked. So in this program that is for 6 hours, there are so many hacks that we teach. There are so many things that we will teach you to be in the present moment, to be able to stay calm and focused all during the interview or the presentation. We ensure that you have lots of mock practice so that you are comfortable when you are sitting on the hot seat. And once you have conquered your fear, it's time to prepare for the actual event, whether it is a presentation or an interview. So let's talk of the first program, which is called Ace Your Interview. And as I said, it's a 6-hour program and totally customized according to the client's evaluation and needs and specifications. And of course, the domain that the client is. So this program is divided into 3 parts, which is the pre, during, and post-interview. And as you know, the pre-stage before the interview is so important. And many people spend this entire time before the interview just worrying about the interview and doing nothing. So could you very quickly tell me, when you go for an interview, what is it that you do just before an interview? Say, let's say 5 days before the interview, what is it that you work on? Let's have some chat. Let's talk to each other, dear.
Guys, you can message us in the chat box, right?
Yes, of course, to calm yourself, Anand, we take deep breath, or maybe we do meditation exercises, or so many calming exercises that we will teach you in the program. Definitely. What else? How do you prepare? How do you plan?
I think we have these dry runs with one of our family members who would listen to us, or just a mock interview.
Okay, so
our friends or someone.
Interview. So let's not talk of interview, but before that.
Right before that, right?
Yes. So you will be understood. What else? One should be thorough with
resume.
Oh, thank you so much for this answer. Yes, the pre-stage of the preparation, we would like you to have a customized CV. But before that, we would like you to have a customized cover letter and do a lot of company research. So as I always say that opportunities never knock. You must have heard that opportunities never knocks twice. But I just say opportunities never knock, leave alone twice or once. You have to go out there and grab those opportunities. So when you are planning to interview for your dream job or for something that you've been looking forward to for a very long time, I would suggest that please prepare, please be very careful of this time that is before the interview, 5, 6, 10 days before the interview. One thing is for sure, please work on your cover note as well as your CV or your resume. Now, why I'm saying this is because your CV is your visiting card. Maybe it is not enough, but it is enough to open doors for you. So it is your first impression. I agree, the attention span of the interviewer is anything between 8 to 10 seconds only. So remember, you have a very, very small window to make that kind of an impression with your the interviewer. So how to make the most of it is one of the most important things that we must focus on. First and foremost, you please do not address your covering note to whomsoever it may concern. I get so many notes like that, to whomsoever it may concern. Now that is very, very impersonal. Make the time and effort to find out who are you addressing it to. Please do not address it to the recruiter, dear hirer, or dear HR personnel. Please take your time, go to LinkedIn, find out the names of the person, or maybe ask your placement agency or your placement officer, find out what is the name of the person you should address to. Secondly, make it customized. So what people do is, and generally I see this very often in students, especially engineering students, what they do is they cut, copy, paste from what their friends have written. So I get copies of the same kind of covering note over and over again, which is so sad, because then I understand that this person has not even made an effort to customize it. So this person is not interested. If you are so interested in my company, you would actually make an effort to write me a letter. Now, if you've not made that effort, it definitely goes into the dust. Yes? Also, when you are writing your cover note, in those 3 paragraphs, I want to see skills that are relevant for the job description. So please, the second thing is to read the job description very carefully. See, let me tell you, a job description is not cut and paste as you might imagine. There are people behind it who are paid huge amount of money in the organization to create those advertisements, to create that job description, the JD. So, and this person who's writing the JD has the technical skills and the HR skills to write this. So you can imagine she is highly qualified and a highly paid individual. So don't underestimate the power of this JD. Please read it very carefully from the top to the bottom. What is the position that is advertised? Which locations it is for? What are the hard skills and the soft skills required? Out of the 5 or 6 hard or soft skills that are there, please make a note of at least 3 which are relevant to you. Also, there may be so many terms and conditions that are there which you need to adhere to. Like, are you ready to be placed to different locations? Are you ready to be working in the night shift? And so many things, so on and so forth. So for your covering letter and the CV also, because these 3 soft skills and hard skills that you have now read in the JD should be prominently displayed in both in your covering note and in your CV. And eventually we will be using these soft words, soft skills and hard skills in a conversation with the interviewer as well later on. And all of this will be taught to you in a very scientific and systematic way when you enter our course, Ace Your Interview at Skills Rediscovery. Coming to the CV is, I cannot stress enough how important that piece of paper. I get a lot of questions on this. Should my CV be a 1-pager or a 2-pager? How many skills can I mention? Should I mention my technical skills before, or should I mention my education? And so very simply and very quickly, I would like to tell you the order of how you must be writing your CV. See, it is not important what template you are using, because so many templates are available on the internet. Use any template, use a very simple template, but the order always has to be like, if you are working currently, then your experience goes first. But if you are a fresher, obviously your education goes first. But you also have done some internship, then education, experience, exposure, achievements, talents, skills. So this is the order how you place your all of your skills there. So if you have any questions, because I might be going too fast, or I might be speaking speaking some words that you do not understand, I would request you to make it very effective. Please ask me questions, whether you like to write it in the chat box or maybe unmute yourself. I'll be very glad to answer all of your questions. So going back to the CV, also let me also tell you here, for any job posting, we get almost 1,000 CVs for one job. So you can imagine how huge the job for the recruiter is. So obviously she does not have the time to spend on your CV. Now, what has compounded the problem is the ATS. Do you know what an ATS is? Okay, so
No, ma'am.
Yes, please. Anybody?
No. I was just saying that I don't know what an ATS is.
All right. So it is automated talent search, which is a AI-based computer program where we put in your CV, and then based on the keywords, the way you use it on Instagram. So we feed in the keywords that are required. So in few minutes, this this robotic app will tell me which of these CVs are most relevant to me. So out of the 1,000 CVs, then I am left with at least 50 or 40 CVs that I now personally look into. So a robot, or let's call it artificial intelligence, has saved me a lot of time. But the flip side is that a lot of talented people get left out because of this ATS. Now, ATS is eliminating so many people. So let's not be fooled by that. How to avoid being eliminated in the early stages is that we must be very aware of what kind of keywords that need to go in our CV so that it becomes ATS proof. Many times, all our achievements or all of our great stuff gets so embedded or so deep inside our CV that in the 10 seconds that I'm going to spend on your CV, I'm unable to find it. So don't let the great stuff get lost in the good stuff. You know what I mean? So many job seekers, they try to include every possible achievement so far. So please avoid that. I would suggest you to make just a one-pager CV which has all the relevant information. So do not put some information that is very, very old, or do not put an information which is not relevant for this job. So if you have been, say, a national basketball player, but now I'm looking for a digital marketing person, obviously that achievement of yours does not count in what I need. So you can totally eliminate. So as in this program, we also offer you a CV clinic where we work with you and clean up your CV and showcase the best of your achievements, interests, skills for the employers. Also, what you need to do with your CV is that, how you read a newspaper. You have this newspaper in front of you, which has what, 18 to 20 pages. Obviously, nobody has that kind of time to read every single word on that. So what do? We look for headlines. We look for something that will interest us. ऐसा ही करते हैं हम लोग, है ना? हेडलाइंस देखते हैं, अच्छा ये स्पोर्ट्स का हेडलाइन ठीक है, यहाँ पे बोर हो रहा है, ये देख लिया. दो चार चीजें जो हमें इंटरेस्ट की लगती हैं, मतलब की लगती हैं, हम वो देख लेते हैं अपने हेडलाइन से, और इस तरह से हमारा न्यूज़पेपर कवर हो जाता है. Similarly, think of this psychology also that will work with the recruiters. Anything that you feel should be read should not go unnoticed by the recruiter. Please make it like a headline. Let it be bolder, or let it be just one font more than the rest of your CV, so that we do not have a choice but to read it. There is no way we can miss it. So this is one of the hacks that I would like you to have. Some people also ask me, should I have a photograph on the CV? So unless you're going for a fashion shoot or a movie, or I'm casting for a movie, there's no need for a photograph, not at all. That is using a very important space on that small paper. So that space can be used for some other things also. Also, please do not put your full address. Nobody is sending you any letters these days in the times of the email and the electronic media. Nobody sends you a postal letter. Don't waste your time there. Another very good way of fooling the ATS is to give yourself a headline. So right under your name, you could say that I work, I create websites, or I do digital marketing, or I'm good at, say, HR auditing, or whatever that you feel is your core skill. And that, like, for example, when you see LinkedIn pages, you have, your skills prominently displayed right under your name. So use that also in your CV. Make sure that your email IDs are professional looking. Make sure that your phone numbers are correctly displayed. Because if I do not if I'm going to be calling you on the phone, and if you do not answer me in your second call as well, I'm not going to make an effort to make a third call. Nobody has that kind of time. Okay. And especially when they have hordes and hordes of CVs that they can invite to an interview. So please make sure all of these. And finally, please ensure that there are no typos, grammatical mistakes, or pronunciation or punctuation mistakes in your CV. So, ordinarily, what happens is that because it is a CV that we have created, we are not able to see those mistakes. Make it a habit that you ask your friend, colleague, or maybe somebody you respect to go through the CV, so that any mistake, if it has happened for whatever reason, can be corrected right there. Now, I also want to say something about, when you tell a story or when you tell a joke, where does the punchline comes? When does it come? When you're telling a joke, when does the punchline come?
Towards the end, I guess.
Towards the end. Now, in this case, the punchline has to come first. So while you likely have many stories to share with the interviewer or why you are qualified for this particular job, no one will be interested in listening to you unless you have a strong hook. And this hook has to come in the beginning. Even when you are crafting a resume, or even when you are crafting a cover letter, when you are talking to an interviewer face-to-face, please make sure that your punchline or your hook comes first, and then the story of how it happened. So when he is already hooked, and he is only going to ask, oh, so when you say, like, for example, I did a deal of, say, 10 million for my last company, immediately the interviewer's antenna is on, and he says, oh, how did you manage that? So understand this. So the punchline comes first, and the story, if it is interesting, will definitely be asked to you, or you can now put forward. Doing a company research is very important, and we also take one entire session on what and how to research, and finally how to use that research. Everybody knows that it is very important to do this research, and most people have this, very generic way of doing it. They will go to the website and read every single page and about us and the news items and the product and services and everything that is there on the website. Is that enough? Is that all we need? And all right, even if we are armed with this knowledge, are we able to use it in the interview? Are you waiting for them to ask you a specific question when you can showcase your research? Do not wait for it. So we actually assist you in giving you step-by-step ways of doing a complete research on this company of your dreams. Apart from knowing the founders and their vision, it is important to know their products and their services. What is the news that is there about them? Has the founders or the CEOs given any interviews or any speeches recently? Have they launched any new product? Have they launched any new facilities, or have they gone into new geographies? Anything that is new about them. This you can find from Google. Maybe you can also go to the LinkedIn profile and see what are they interested in? What is it specifically they write about? Do they have any other interests apart from their company they own or the services they provide? Do they talk? Do they have any non-government organizations or profitable or philanthropic organizations that they work for? Who are the people in the hiring or recruiting areas? Do you have their names? What schools they come from? You could go to Glassdoor. Glassdoor is another very simple to use app where a lot of employees put their reviews on how this company is to work for. So the positive and the negative reviews are there. So all of these is what encompasses our ACE Your Interview training. And now we come to the big day when you have to go for the interview. So you'll be very surprised to know that 7 to 10% of your words actually add to your success. 50% is based on your body language. So as soon as you enter the interviewer's room, in the first 10 seconds, they have made up their mind whether they like the person or they don't like the person. And the 20 minutes of the interview is just to substantiate what has been their gut feeling. And you know what that gut feeling, where this gut feeling comes from? It comes from observing the body language very closely. So most recruiters, as most lawyers or judges or FBI, they are trained to be very good at body language. And NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Program, has these amazing techniques to understand the body language of other person, and also for you to have a powerful body language where you can showcase yourself as someone who is knowledgeable, who is creditworthy, and who is worth taking in the company. And most people can find out whether you are lying or whether you are truthful in what you have just committed to. So these things are very important. So one of the sessions is totally dedicated on body language, what to do with your posture, your gestures, where to keep your hand back, where to keep your file, how to answer when you are asked for a cup of tea, and your handshake and your eye contact, your smile. So, and one entire session is just based on body language. And after you are seated, then we do a lot of sessions on frequently asked questions. And you will all agree with me that in most of the interviews, some of the questions remain the same. Whatever domain you are from, whatever position you are going for, whether you're going for a junior level position or a very senior level position, it will always start with, okay, so tell me something about yourself, or tell me something that is not there on your CV. Tell me something that could interest me, or tell me 3 things that are most important to you. So these are, you would imagine that taking questions, right? And do not give a lot of focus, a lot of importance to these questions. But let me assure you that these questions are very, very important. So apart from the, Shivani, do we have more time, or?
Yes, ma'am, a couple of more minutes, I guess.
A couple. All right. So what I'm saying is that all of these questions, how you answer them and how they are interpreted by the interviewer is different. Like when you tell me that you organized, say, a blood donation camp in your college, how I interpret is that, okay, you have good organization skills, you are a leader, and you are an empathetic, compassionate person. All right. So for every incident or every situation that you will bring out in front of me, I will interpret it in the manner that it will suit my organization or not. So there are several such questions. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Why do you want to join this company? Or why did you choose this subject? Or we could give you certain situations. Tell me a time when you exhibited your leadership skills or your team work skills. So many things, so many questions which are asked in an interview. So we do a lot of mock practice on that, and we give you a lot of ways or ways to answer that, or you could formulate them with us, and making your interviews much more powerful than you could imagine. If you are even thinking that you have good English speaking skills, or if you have very good domain knowledge, or you have very good percentages, that will not ensure that your interview will also go the same way. Because communication skills are more dependent on how your audience is going to interpret. And that you will learn through scientific methods of NLP, life coaching, and communication skills coaching. So once again, this is Meeta Mathur, and I have these 2 very important sessions on skills rediscovery, which is powerful public speaking and easier interview. I wish all of you grand success in all your endeavors. And if you have any questions, we are available to you. I request you to please visit our platform, skillsrediscovery.com. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, ma'am. I mean, you have left me speechless with the way you conducted this webinar. Not only did you talk about good communication skills, but you also gave our members some amazing copywriting skills, and I'm thoroughly grateful to you for that. So before I move towards the course link and everything, I want request all the participants, if you have any questions, any queries, please write in the chat box, because you will get a direct conversation or a direct solution from our trainer here, who's been training students in communicating and doing interviews and combating their fear of communication or public speaking for so long. So guys, write in the chat box right away if you have any queries. And yeah, apart from just this webinar or just a conversation you would like to have with ma'am, she has, like she mentioned a couple of times, that she has these 2 courses at Skills Rediscovery of acing your interview skills with NLP techniques and the power of public speaking through NLP techniques, is at Skills Rediscovery, or the link of which we are going to share in the chat box right now. So, you can check out these 2 courses. These have been there for a long time. Those of you who not only know about this course can visit our website, which the link of which is already there in the chat box. I'm going to paste it again.
So Shivani, if I may intervene here,
Yes.
A lot of very powerful blogs also present in this platform, especially about how to combat ATS, how to, there are some technological platforms on interviews which are conducted virtually. So a lot of knowledge-based blogs are also there on the platform.
Yes, ma'am. So we can definitely, obviously those blogs are there, and there'll be more blogs, so you can check out those blogs as well, like ma'am said. I'm going to share those blogs also on our platforms. So you can check out not only our website, but you can also check out our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, for those amazing blogs. Thank you, ma'am, for reminding me that. You are always a blessing in that sense. And guys, I'm sure that you enjoyed the webinar, because I thoroughly did. The kind of things that she specially mentioned about ATS and how to write your CV, your resume, and the amount of copywriting skills that she gave us was something that I was like, yeah, this is really important, and we actually are very careless at times. So we should make sure that we keep that a point. And yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving us your precious time and giving us those amazing tips, which is really important. People don't understand communication, log ko lagta hai ki theek hai, kya hai usme. But when it actually comes to conversing with people and using the right kind of words, and ek word hota hai jargon. So like jargon is like whenever you are at a particular area or a particular conference or in a professional area, you have to use the words accordingly. So that is what communication means. You keep yourself ready. You keep yourself ready with the right kind of stuff, knowledge and everything. And, speaking your thoughts in a manner so that other person also understand, you also have the right kind of listening skill to understand the other person. I'm sure you must have learned a lot from this webinar. And we are going to again give you all the links in the chat box. Sayesh, the full form of ATS is, ma'am, the full form of ATS is?
Automated Talent Search.
Automated Talent Search.
Artificial intelligence app, which we often use. Earlier, only Facebook, Google, and the large computer organizations used to use it. But now most people use it, when we are faced with a huge overload of CVs that come to us. It works on the same way your Instagram or Facebook uses, it has certain keywords that we punch in, and those are the keywords it will search in your CV. And then those CVs which have those keywords, it will push it up.
Right. I hope, Sayesh, your doubt is clear. Thank you for the question. Anyone has any other question, any other query, you can quickly write in the chat box. We can have a quick Q&A.
You could actually go to this blog, which is there on Skills Rediscovery. I've written that, how to combat ATS. So there are 10 important points what you can keep in mind before writing your CV and how to use it. Yes.
Right. See, guys, you have all the solutions right in front of you. We have given you the website link. You can check out for the blog. You can check out for the courses. We have given you the link. You can check out for more amazing content at Skills Rediscovery. As you know, ये एक प्लेटफॉर्म है जो कि बहुत सारे वैरायटी के डोमेन्स में स्किल्स बेस्ड कोर्सेज लाता है फ्रॉम विच यू कैन लर्न बी इट कम्युनिकेशन, मार्केटिंग, बिजनेस, टेक्नोलॉजी, साइंस, इनफैक्ट नाउ आर्ट ऑल्सो. उसमें आपको बहुत तरीके के कोर्सेज मिलेंगे, लाइक मैम मेंशन, डांसिंग, सिंगिंग, पेंटिंग, culinary. So guys, what are you waiting for? Go check out our website right now. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this amazing webinar. I hope you also had a fun time here interacting with all the students.
And in the limited time, it's such a vast subject, but I've tried my best. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, guys, now it's time to, end the webinar. So before we do that, I would like to, suggest you guys to fill in the polls. If you've already not filled it, you have the polls right in front of you. You can click on the polls and you can answer your questions. I would also like you to fill the feedback form. So Anant, if you could just quickly share the feedback form for our students, and then we can share some more information. So guys, as you know that, it's a webinar series that's going on in Skills Rediscovery right now. So we have a string of webinars from 5th to 15th of August and more. So आपके लिए हम बहुत सारे इंटरेस्टिंग और इन्फॉर्मेटिव वेबिनार्स लेके आ रहे हैं. आज एक वेबिनार था जो कि कम्युनिकेशन पे था, इंटरव्यू स्किल्स पे था. कल भी एक वेबिनार है जो कि उतने ही इन्फॉर्मेटिव और इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक पे है. So I'm gonna just share the screen and show you the webinar. Anand, if you could just quickly show us the webinar poster for our students.
Yeah.
If you have any queries about the webinar, then you can. Okay, so we have the poster right in front of us. This is the power of MS Excel. And yes, so I hope you've already registered for it. If you want, you can still do that. We have the link here. Can we have the feedback form also?
It's in the chat box already.
Okay. Actually, Anand, it's not visible here. Can you reshare it if possible? Actually, I got it. Guys, go through the feedback form and quickly tell us what did you like, what more do you want. You can visit our website, like ma'am said, you can visit our blogs, you can visit our courses. The courses link is also here. We also have an MS Excel course. So tomorrow, this webinar is there at 7 p.m. and it's about MS Excel. And we all know how much MS Excel is important in today's world, be it any profession. कोई भी profession हो, MS Excel तो काम आता ही है. So you can quickly join this webinar tomorrow at 7 p.m. and learn more about it. And this is with our trainer, Mr. Manoj Chakravarti, who is an experienced and a very influential trainer. He can give you some amazing tricks and tips about the topic. So what are we waiting for, guys? Let's tune into this webinar tomorrow. And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to wait for a couple of more minutes so that I can get any more questions from you, if you have any. And yeah. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so glad you all took out time for this webinar. I hope you will do the same tomorrow. We'll get some participants to join. All the information will be shared in the WhatsApp group, so you can check it out. You can keep checking out our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, where you can get all the important information. You can also check out our website, the link to which is there in the chat box. You can also check out our courses. आपको कुछ भी चाहिए, कोई भी आपका feedback है, कोई भी suggestion है, you can always write to us. And yeah, guys, so thank you so much for joining us today. With this, we have come to the end of this webinar, but we have not come to the end of the webinar series, जो कि अभी चलेगी. And you can enjoy the amazing webinars and build your skills. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Meeta ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Guys, we also have our social media handles here in the chat box. You can quickly go through them. So yeah, go through the feedback link, and thank you, Sayesh. I'll be giving you the website link here. Go through the feedback link, website link, course link. Everything is there in front of you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Okay, we have come to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much.